And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I am here to finish off the tier list series. Let's do this in a quick and tidy manner. Get rid of the center tier. So we're going to be ranking and assorting the best centers in NBA 2K21. My team today, and I hope it goes well. You guys have been reacting pretty positively to my tier list for the most part, aside from like one or two cards. But you know, you guys have been pretty chill. That's pretty sick. So let's get the parameters out of the way. I mean, if you guys have not watched the rest of my series, go check that out. I'll link the playlist at the end of the video. That's where all my tier lists for the entire year are. So if you want to watch like any of my old tier lists as well, that would be super cool. You can definitely go do that. I have tier lists dating back all the way to 2K20, but I think the playlist that I'm linking will specifically be the 2K21 tier list from basically the first month of the game all the way till now. So parameters. If you have already watched all my tier list videos, you know, you can skip like 30 seconds into the future and you'll be good. S tier, unquestionable best cards. A tier, basically S tier, just like a shade under. Maybe there's like one reason, or they're just not quite as good as the S tier guys. B tier, this is where you're going to find a majority of the cards that the community uses, and I will explain every single one and why they're not in A tier or C tier, etc. C tier, C stands for competent. These are all pretty competent cards. There's no real reason to not use any of these cards if you're specifically good with them. Like I've said before, I just try to rank through multiple playstyles, both gens, try to focus on the whole community when I'm ranking these cards. So B tier are more appropriate for the vast majority of people, but there might be guys in C tier that you personally think are better than those guys. There might even be guys in B tier that you think are better than A tier guys for your playstyle specifically. So D tier. I would say detrimental would be like a good word for D tier. Like these guys are definitely still okay, but they can be a detriment to your team. It's probably best to upgrade to some of the C tier and above guys. F is for basically just, I don't want to say failure. Maybe just like free up some MT. F for free up some MT. Yeah, like to definitely upgrade from these guys for sure. A lot of outdated cards or like one note cards will be in here. Trash tier. Straight trash. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. By the way, shout out to Wildmont Gaming if you haven't gone and checked his channel up. He did a tier list based on my tier list that I made on Tier Maker, and I like what he did with the categories. That was pretty cool. I like that. Let's get started. Jared Sullinger. Sorry to all the Jared Sullinger stands out there. All four of you, Jared Sullinger included. F tier. He's just not very good at this point. I would play around with a new Jarrett Sullinger card if 2K were to release it, but I just don't know what their content roadmap is looking like for 2K21 anymore. Fully evoed Mel Daniels. See, he's still probably one of the most underrated cards in the game, like all things factored in. There's a lot of cards that I personally think are underrated, but I do feel like a lot of people view Mel Daniels as underrated, and deservedly so. Still really good. Max wingspan, pretty good jump shot. Definitely, I don't want to say ahead of his time, but a lot better than we realized at the time. Alonzo Mourning. It sucks to put him in trash tier, but that's kind of where he belongs at this point. He's still better than a lot of the guys in trash tier. He'll probably end up being the best overall card in trash tier, but he's just super outdated. There's nothing wrong with the card specifically, and there's a new version of Alonzo Mourning that I will talk about. Alvin Adams. He's definitely better than Sullinger, definitely worse than Mel Daniels. I'd put him like in D tier. He'll probably end up being closer to the top of D tier because he's really, really good. By the way, I have 134 cards to get through, so I'm not going to go into like an expansive lore situation with each card. Like I'm just going to kind of try to breeze through it a little bit. Amari Stoudemire, he does wear Kirk Heinrich goggles, which is sick, but D tier is appropriate. Bargnani. He is better than Sullinger, definitely worse than these guys. I said worse with a lisp. No. Andrea Bargnani's really nice, though. Like, I would use a new Andrea Bargnani card. This is my problem with 2K. I'm not going to go on like a huge rant about it. I've talked about it in a few different tier lists, but they have this wealth of players that they've put out this year, and yet towards the end of the year, we're just getting rehashes of the same like 6 players. It's like very frustrating. Andre Drummond. Trash. These season rewind reward cards were all really bad. He's not as good as Sullinger or Bargnani as far as overall. Defensively, he is definitely better than those two guys, but if you take their entire game, they're way more well-rounded than Drummond and have very similar badge counts, even though this card came out like 2 weeks ago and these guys came out months ago. Bogut. He is better than Andre Drummond, but still trash. USA Anthony Davis. I would say B tier. He's basically the same as the fan favorites, Anthony Davis. He's probably not going to be towards the top of B tier, but he's good. And the fact that his price is so low because we've just been flooded with Anthony Davises is kind of crazy. He's not the... he's the best budget power forward. Like, one of the best budget big men that you can buy in this game is Anthony Davis, no question. If you got a little bit more scratch, definitely go pick up his Space Jam version, but this one's solid too. Invincible Taco. He's A tier. He'll probably end up being the lowest card on A tier, if not one of the lowest. But still, like, he deserves to be A tier. He's 7'5". He's an invincible card, so he can basically do everything. Pretty clean jump shot too. It's a little bit slow, but it's fine. He's definitely better than Pantheon 80. Antonio Davis is probably the worst card on this list, and I actually meant to take him off, but I forgot. This card, I've hated this card since day one. If you guys have watched my tier list all year, I'm pretty sure he has been F or possibly D, but at least D or lower in every tier list I've done this year. It's kind of wild. Art Gilmore. This pains me as well. He's a defensive specialist, but even then he's a little bit outdated at this point, and it hurts because I like him. Bam Adebayo. I think he's probably C tier. I think he's not as good as this Anthony Davis card, like, that's for sure. And I think thinking of cards that are probably going to end up in B tier, because like I said, I don't track these before. Like, I just hop right in here. You know, it's kind of like the YouTube, my team YouTuber equivalent of freestyling. You know, I'm not a studio YouTuber. I'm a DIY. All right, I don't know why I'm hyping myself up like this. Arvida Sabonis. Dude, Sabonis is really good. I would actually put him in B tier. He's really nice. Like, he's really slow. That's something you will find out very quickly, but he is one of the best rebounding cards in this entire game, and he's got a pretty solid jumper. Now, I will be double-checking myself on some of these cards specifically in relation to jump shots and stuff periodically, because like I said, I don't do very much at all prior to it, but Arvida Sabonis is really good. He's been good all year, even dating back to his diamond card. His diamond card was so tight. I like that card a lot. His opal was okay. I mean, the 89 speed definitely helps him, but set shot 8, which is the same release as like Nurkic and DeMarcus Cousins with that release 102 upper, which is the James Worthy upper. Same with the Van Arsdales as well, and Kawhi Leonard. So he's actually really, really good. If you can look past how slow he is, I think you'll find that this is a very competent, usable center. And I do think he's one of the more slept-on cards in the game because he's not really meta. You know what I mean? Ben Simmons. I mean, he's still C tier. Ben Simmons is good in 2K. That's just how it is, but not at the center position. But he plays the small forward really, really well. That's about it. Christian Laettner. I mean, he's not F tier bad. He's not. I might move him down because I hate this card, but he just came out like 2 weeks ago. No card that came out 2 weeks ago, besides these trash reward cards, is going to go lower than D tier because it's just like, that wouldn't be a real list at this point, you know? Laettner's not good, but he's not terrible either. He has a dynamic duo with Grant Hill, which is pretty tight as well. Hassan Whiteside, he's so good defensively, and he can have all the shooting badges equipped, and when you equip all the shooting badges to him and gold out, or even Hoff out some of his shooting badges, I am not kidding to you, he is not kidding to you. That's not even a turn of phrase. I am not over-exaggerating when I say that he's probably a mid-C tier center if you upgrade all of his shooting badges. He's actually really good, but I'll keep him in D tier for now. I mean, he might be the best card in D tier right now. Yeah, I would say so. No card in this game blocks shots at the rate this Hassan Whiteside blocks shots. He is one of the best shot blockers in 2K, period. Ben Wallace. Oh, B tier, dude. Ben Wallace is such a beast. I will say he plays significantly better at the power forward, but then again, so does AD, so. Ben Wallace is so good. This card is so good. No question, one of the best perimeter defending big men in the game. He's also incredible on the interior, too. Pretty much maxed out stats, badges, and tendencies in relation to guarding the interior, but he can also step out on the wing and really defend. Like, he defends, for lack of a better, he defends like Hassan Whiteside inside, and then he defends like Kawhi on the wing with a pretty decent jump shot. Some people don't like it though. Bill Laimbeer, atrocious jump shot, sick mask, but I mean, he's just meh. D. David West, he's the best card in D tier, but I think a lot of the guys in C tier are going to end up better than him, but he is actually pretty solid. David West is another guy. It's kind of shocking like how decent he was this year in 2K. Bill Russell. We got 2 spotlight rewards up here. Bill Russell is still A tier though. A little bit small at 6'9". If anyone's going to drop, it might be him, but he also has that Ray Allen base, so it's like there's not really any reason to drop Bill Russell aside from his size. He's essentially a better offensive version of what Ben Wallace does. He's like, if you look at the 2 cards, Ben Wallace is the superior defender based on his like broad shoulders and stocky player build, and he triggers those Kawhi type defensive animations. But Bill Russell is so much better on the offensive end with a way better jump shot, so I would say he's still better. Big Oak. Yeah, Oakley is still C tier. He's good. Bill Walton. He's not great, but he's not terrible. I would say like D tier area. He's better than Leitner. I mean, maybe not. He's better than Bill Laimbeer, though, for sure. Boban. D. I actually like Boban a lot. I'm considering moving him up to C. Yeah, I will, actually. I will move Boban up to C. Hideous jump shot, but he's massive, and he can get boards. You know what? No, I don't know. He's just worse Mirossan, basically. So, I'll leave him here for now. Oh, Bobby Portis is no joke C tier. Bobby Portis is so good. Shout out to my man, NBA champion Bobby Portis. Let's go. It's really unfortunate that my car got totaled because I really wanted to go to the parade today and I couldn't. I wanted to go and live stream it, which would have been cool, but you know, I almost died, so I don't have a car to get there, and it's really expensive to ride a bird scooter that far. Bob Lanier. That's a tough one as well. I would say D tier. With shooting badges, C tier. Normal, D tier. Probably the best card in D tier, though. I like Bob Lanier a lot. Bob McAdoo. I would say Bob McAdoo is B tier, for sure. He's a little bit small, but so is Bill Russell. He's pretty similar to that vein of player. Overall, really good. Great at attacking the rim. They usually make Bob McAdoo like kind of like a budget Giannis, or kind of like Giannis in some way, shape, or form, and they did it again. This card's really good. Bull, B tier. Dude, you know, sometimes because I do tier lists, it gets me to a point where I start to hate cards, because if I'm just even lightly critical of a card that people like, they get mad. And Bull is one of those things. Like, no, I don't care what you have to say. Bull at this point in the year is not A tier, he's not S tier, he's like B tier. It is what it is. Brook Lopez. Another buck in the house here. I would put Brook Lopez in C tier. I think he's probably worse than Mel Daniels. I like this Brook Lopez card a lot. Bryant Big Country Reeves. He's better than Antonio Davis. That's what I can say about that. Chris Bosh. Bosh is still C tier. Base 29. Overall, the exact same as his Dark Matter. Nothing really wrong with this card. He's just about as like mid-grade as you could possibly get. All right. Am I going to ruffle feathers with this one? Potentially, but David Robinson, in my opinion, is an S-tier center. He is literally like a mountain of a man, impossible to move. Good jump shot. There's literally nothing wrong with this card except he's not 7'5". Like that's the only critique I will hear out, is he's only 7 foot tall. Boozer. F-tier. Chandler Parsons. Yeah, I mean, Chandler Parsons is not that tight. He's good. If he was on the point guard tier list, like, he'd probably be up on like C tier probably, but for a center, like, he's still more agile and works better than Stoudemire and Leitner, so I'd put him like right there. Channing Frye. He is the worst card in C tier, but he still belongs in C tier. Like, he's still good. Chris Boucher. He's the best card in C tier, bar none. Like, for certain situations, I might even use Chris Boucher over Bol. It just kind of depends, but I'll put Bol in front of Arvidas, and AD's a toss-up. I'll put him right here. Christian Wood, B tier. Still incredibly good. Remember when 2K gave us super tight free cards like that? Tisk tisk, 2K. Clint Capella. Yeah, right next to Hassan Whiteside. If he has the dynamic duo with Trae Young, he's probably C tier because it boosts up his three-point shooting by a lot, but until you do that, he's like D. Daniel Gafford, Bulls legend. Yeah, right next to Drummond. Do you really care which one's ahead of the other ones? I really hope you don't. Invincible Yao Ming, yeah, S tier for sure. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the card personally, and you're going to find that happening. I mean, that's one thing I always try to tell people in relation to 2K and my team specifically, is you get these guys like Yao and everyone's like, they're the greatest card in the game. It's the best card in the game, blah, 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 blah. And then you might pick that card up for like a significant amount of MT and then play with it, and you're like, wow, I'm better with the free Christian Wood that I had. That happens. Don't feel bad. You're not trash or anything like that, regardless of what. Oh, if you can't use Yao, you're just trash. It's not it, dude. People are different. Shut up. Stop being a gatekeeping nerd. Danny Granger. He's small, but he's still like C tier. I like this Danny Granger card. I wish he had base 29. Rewards David Robinson. He's probably going to end up super low on B tier, maybe high C tier because he's a bit outdated, but David Robinson player build-wise is just so good that he deserves to be here. This AD, yeah, I would do the same thing. I would put him slightly ahead of the Pantheon one. I personally prefer the Pantheon one because the Pantheon one's like 7K and this one's like 50. So I would go Pantheon all day over this one, but this one is technically better. Deandre Ayton. Ayton's good. He's B tier, especially for his price. You can go for like 20K, which is like a steal. Big Dirk. This really hurts me to do, but I think D tier makes sense for him. He's just extra outdated at this point. I still love the card. I still play triple threat with him. But he is outdated. Triple threat offline. I don't take this man online because I'm just going to run into like 47 invincibles, and I'm going to be upset. DeMarcus Cousins. Yeah, this card is super slept on because it came out in the Season Rewind set, but D-Cuz is a beast. I have ran into nary a single DeMarcus Cousins online. Not one, but you guys need to recognize this card is sick. Dikembe Mutombo. I still think he's A tier. Like, legitimately, I do. This card is so stupid good. One of the best defensive centers in the game. Basically, take... where is he? You take Hassan Whiteside. You make him about 9 times faster. You give him a relatively decent jump shot. And you make his arms a little bit longer. And he moves a little bit better. That's Dikembe, basically. So, you can see my rationale now. Oh, Big Dino? Yeah, nah, Big Dino is absolutely B tier. Oh yes, I will be putting Big Dino ahead of all of these guys. I don't care. Sabonis. Just a bit outdated. I would still say he's better than David West and Bob Lanier, though. D. Oh, I should say little Sabonis, not big one. Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's still B tier. I don't think he's A tier. There's too many good invincible centers at this point, and centers in general, for him to be A tier. But this Dwight is also a super slept-on card. Oh, Eddie Curry. You already know what's up. Eddie Curry definitely deserves B tier. You know I like Eddie Curry. That's what it is. So does the player base. I like his jump shot a lot. The one thing I will say is they do this with Eddie Curry too, is he's 7 foot tall, but he looks smaller for some reason. I don't know if it's because he's so thick. Like, I don't know what it is. He's also not like an incredibly great ball handler. So, Pink Diamond Magic. I would put him in D tier. I don't think he's really that good at the center position or the power forward necessarily. So, I don't think he's that high up. Bam Adebayo. I would say Bam is B tier. Another kind of forgotten card in the Season Rewind set. He's really, really good, though. Like, really good. Enes Kanter, F. Yeah, he's better than Sullinger. Chris Kaman, F. It's just not good enough to be up in D tier. Enshrined Kareem. I would say Enshrined Kareem is towards the top of D tier. I wish he could shoot a little bit better if he could, which doesn't make any sense because athletically he's the same as the other Kareems, really. But he can't really shoot. It kind of should be the opposite. He should be able to shoot, but isn't that athletic since it's like the 45-year-old Kareem in the picture. You know, it's kind of how his career trajectory went. Also, they don't use this Kareem player build, which I think kind of sucks. Or wait, do they? I don't know if they do. That's a good question. Comment down below. Do they use the old man Kareem player build? I know it's in the game because I know the Amethyst one at the beginning of the year. I haven't used them on current gen. On next gen, I don't think they do, though. Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba's nasty, dude. I would put him in B tier for sure. He's better than Bob McAdoo. For sure. He's probably actually better than Ben Wallace, too. George Mikan. C tier. I think, anyway. I'm going to keep him here for now, but I might move him up. Yeah, Mikan's pretty solid, so. Wilt Chamberlain. Just like Hassan Whiteside and Clint Capella, he's a really dominant defensive card with, you know, obviously Wilt's defensive animations, so I think he deserves to be here, but he cannot shoot at all. Marcus Camby. He's still better than... No, he's not better than Andrew Bogut. Yeah, I'd put him right here. Radioactive Giannis. If he has the dynamic duo with Chris Middleton, he's B tier. If he doesn't, he's probably the best card in C tier. I get it. I know it's Giannis, and that's good and everything. I like the card a lot, too. For me, personally, he's probably up in B tier, but... I don't know. I might end up moving him up to B tier. We'll see what's up with Giannis. Kareem. S. No question about it. I don't even care. I chose Kareem over Yao Ming. Like, I had Yao Ming, I had Kareem. I liked Kareem significantly more, even though Yao's the more meta card. I just had more success with Kareem. He's great at, like, everything. George Mirossan. C tier. Mirossan's really, really good. Yeah. Basically, he's... Who's the guy? Where was I? Where's my boy at here? I feel like there was someone who I said was basically just Mirossan. Now I can't find him. Oh, Boban. Yeah, it's basic. Mirossan is just better Boban. That's it. Just stuttered for a second. You guys are gonna think I'm a clone now. I'll keep Boban in C tier though. Luka, still very talented, also very small. So I would put him like right here. David West is appropriate. Mark Eaton. Everything I said about Hassan Whiteside kind of goes double for Mark Eaton. He's just a little more sluggish. Greg Oden. This card's actually pretty solid. I would put him like right here. He's very decent. Like very... Brook Lopez is a very accurate compliment there. Reward Hakeem. I think, yeah, Reward Hakeem is B tier. He's good. Hakeem cards are very good. Kevin Love. Kevin Love is the tippy top of C tier. He has a few issues, but he's a very, very competent, usable card. I just don't think he's really like that meta of a card, so I put him in C tier. Competent. You know what I mean? Alonzo Mourning, same thing. He's not a meta card, but a very competent card. Slow jump shot, but he actually plays really, really well. I've been using this card a lot, trying to get his challenges done and stuff, and he plays an incredibly good defense. He's very useful for domination. Dave Cowens. Dave Cowens is sick. C. Isaiah Hartenstein, yeah, he's like pretty bad, but he's still somehow better than Andre Drummond. Shawn Bradley. Oh god, here it comes. I think he's on next gen. He's probably A tier, right? Like on next gen, he's probably A tier. He's definitely A tier, dude. This is one of those cards that I hate having to do tier lists. Like these cards specifically make me hate tier lists, right? Because, like, I think it's so subjective on if he deserves to be an A tier. He's not going to be an S tier. I'll tell you that right now. Like, you could sit there and tell me how good Shawn Bradley is. He's not as good as David Robinson, Kareem, or Yao. It's not a thing. But I think A tier makes sense. He still needs a bunch of dribbling badges and stuff, but just know for my personal list, he's probably down in B. Like, I still use him in my squad, but I think he is massively overhyped for sure. But for 9K, I don't know if you can buy another big bet in this game that's this good. Zubac. You know what? Zubac's actually pretty good. I would put him in C tier. He's pretty solid. Ralph Sampson. Yeah, no, like, not very good. D tier. Jack Sigma. Outdated. Best card in F, though. No, I'll actually take Bargnani over him. Jakob Podol, F. James Donaldson. Actually, he blocks so many shots, I would actually put him in F tier. Like, he's still usable in some capacities, like better Art Gilmore. James Wiseman. I would say both James Wisemans are B tier. I would even be willing to say they're pretty far up B tier as well. Like, they're basically the exact same card, though. Like, straight up. This one has a few more Hoff badges, but they're basically the same. I would rank this one over here, and then I would put this James Wiseman in between Bol and Christian Wood. Probably behind the two, but it really doesn't matter. I'd actually do that. I don't know. Does it really matter? But this one I would put up by, like, Dino and Bob McAdoo. Jaren Jackson, outdated but still good. I would throw him like right over here by Mel Daniels. Big Pat. Patrick Ewing's still pretty solid, like Boban level. Like he's very by Oakley and Granger actually. That's appropriate. Jarrett Allen. This card's shockingly good. I put him by like Odin and Brook Lopez and stuff like that. He shouldn't shoot as well as he does, but he does. JaVale. D. Still good. He's worse than Boban, though. That's kind of the barometer for pink diamond massive centers that shoot spot-up threes. Moses Malone. Yeah, my favorite card in D tier, bar none. If he has shooting badges, he's still probably in C tier. This card came out in like February. Jackson Hayes. He's basically the same as this Kareem. They're like the same card. Jermaine O'Neal. For the straight backs alone and the fact that he slide punched that guy in Detroit, I'm going to give him D tier by... He's the worst card in D tier. I'm Bill Lambier, actually. Joel Embiid. He deserves to be C tier. And then his idols, Embiid, will probably be A tier. I don't think Taco, by the way, is the best card in A tier. I actually think he's the worst card in A tier. That's my personal opinion. I would rank it as such. Probably. Yeah, Shawn, Bradley, Bill Russell, Shawn Bradley, Mutombo, Joel, Taco. Okay, yep. Valanciunas. D. It's all right. Julius Randle, a bit outdated, but pretty similar to Charles Oakley. Nurkic by Sabonis. D. Big Cat by other Sabonis. B tier. Still a pretty good card, though. Karl Malone. Trash. Always. Wilt Chamberlain. B tier. Wilt just has a kind of a hinky jump shot. That's it. I personally love Wilt Chamberlain, and I would say he's up in A tier for me. But because of his jumper, I would put him in B tier. He still moves better than majority of centers do, and he dunks on everyone. Great defensive animations. He moves really well. There's just not much. There's nothing this card can't do. It's just that jumper, man. That's it. And I like it, for the record. I'm a fan. So, Dario Saric. D. Yeah, D tier. He can't rebound at all, bro. And if you guys have tried to do his rebounding challenges, you guys know what I'm talking about. This man refuses to rebound the ball. I don't know what it is. And for that reason, I'm keeping him out of C tier. Oh, Hakeem? Yeah, Invincible Hakeem is really nice. I would put him right next to Mutombo. He's actually kind of a better Mutombo, I would say. I personally think he's better than Shawn Bradley. That's just me, though. I'm going to do that real quick. I actually think he's the best card in A tier. Kelly Olynyk, he can shoot, so not well, but he can. Out of position, Kevin Durant, still good enough to be C tier, but nothing to write home about. Kevin McHale. I don't know if this is controversial or not. I really don't, but I think Kevin McHale is actually like B tier. Like, he's really good. Like, really. Kevin McHale cards have been good. They're pretty much always good in 2K, so I would say he's like right here. He's no Dino, but, you know. That Celtics team in the 80s, they would have had like 5 championships if they had Dino. That's not accurate at all. Kostas. Jackson Hayes Kareem area. Yeah, I like this card. His jumper feels the most like base 11 from last year. Big stops. Right by like Wiseman, Bol, and Christian Wood in the overhyped center of B here. Or B tier. B here. But still, I mean, people who like Kristaps, they like Kristaps. He's 7'2". I think 7'2" or 7'3". I don't remember. He rebounds really, really weirdly. Some games you'll play with him, he's like a rebounding machine, and it has nothing to do with the personnel you're facing. It's just sometimes like, you know, that's actually one of the most accurate aspects of 2K now that I think about it. Kristaps just deciding to play well some games and deciding to play well or not play well other games. Very on brand. I don't know if that's on purpose necessarily, but like, it's accurate. LaMarcus Aldridge. Really good, but C tier I think is appropriate for him. Larry Nance, same thing. Like, this card's really nice, but he's not really worth the exchange. I would actually put him around Greg Oden, Jarrett Allen levels. Like, he's pretty decent. He's just a little undersized, I think. Lauri Markkanen, no joke, I think he's the best card in C tier, and that hurts my soul as a Bulls fan. Luke Longley, yeah, he's still better than Marcus Camby. So, Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol is actually the best card in C tier. He's just a slightly worse version of Hakeem, basically. They're basically all the same card. Like, I'm not even kidding. I might make some adjustments here. Because, like, Sabonis and David Robinson, I don't know necessarily if they're really that much worse than Marc Gasol. Or that much better, I mean. So I might pivot them down. Marvin Bagley. Channing Frye, like C tier. I prefer Channing Frye. Plumlee, yeah. No. He's, like, not very good. He's actually worse than Daniel Gafford and Drummond. Like, Gafford actually can block shots. Isaiah Hartenstein needs to go down, too. Oh, Matt Bonner? The Red Mamba? The Ginger Assassin? Oh, yeah. No, C tier, no question. Yeah. I don't even care. He deserves to be there. He really does. He's so good. Michael Sweetney? He actually is good enough to not be in trash tier. It's not saying much. Mitchell Robinson by Hassan Whiteside and Mark Eaton. Great defensive player. Doesn't really bring you much else. Flash Glitched Wilt. I still like him a lot, so I would put him like mid C tier somewhere. But definitely time has kind of passed him by. I still use him, though. I have an unlimited contract, so I still run him. Mo Bamba. Great card, but I just think he's a little outclassed by a lot of these newer cards that we got in here. Probably the best card in D tier overall, though. So he might move up. You guys know how I like to tinker at the end. Deandre Jordan. God, his jump shot is abysmal. I don't even know what upper he has, but with that wilt jumper, with whatever upper he has, is oh my God, it's so bad. Somehow still better than Bill Laimbeer, though. Like, as far as jumper goes. He's actually better than Clint Capella. And this wilt. This wilt actually deserves to go down in the bottom. Yeah, right there. No. I can't do that. At least he can shoot, so he's better than these guys. Montrez Harrell. Montrez is a very tough card to rank because he's not very good, but then at the same time, like, he's not incredibly bad either. So it's like, what do I value necessarily? He's got 47 Hoff badges. Jump shot 78 is Kyle Lowry's release. I'll put him in D tier, actually. Yeah, D tier makes sense for him. Behind Saric. Moses Brown. I mean, he's basically the same as, like, Kareem and Jackson Hayes and Kostas. Just worse than those guys. That makes sense. Moses Malone. Oh, yeah. A tier, no question. Moses is so good, dude. I will say he plays much better at the power forward, but he deserves to be A tier. No question about it. I personally like him the best out of every single card in A tier. Muggsy, the best card in trash tier. I don't care what y'all say. Miles Turner. He's just outdated, but he's alright still. Nate Thunder Thurman. Where are my big men at? Yeah, Kareem, Jackson Hayes area, somewhere around there. Naz Reed. He's a top card in D tier. He's actually pretty decent. I might actually throw him in C because he's pretty good. Batum. He's just not good at the center position. If he was on the point guard tier list, he'd probably still be in B tier, but for center tier list, I actually would put him like somewhere around here. Radioactive Kareem. With shooting badges, B tier. Without shooting badges, C tier at this point. Nicholas Claxton. He's not very good. He's not very good, is he? No. Jokic. Yeah, I mean, Jokic he's good. A. He's definitely better than everyone in B tier, for sure. Vucevic. Marc Gasol level, C tier. Onyeka Okongwu. Pretty good. D tier. Defensive specialist. Where did I put the other big pad at? Because this card is basically the same thing. So, right here. Yeah, no, it's fine. Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol is actually a really good card as well. I would put him by, like, Aldridge. I think Marc Gasol is a better card personally, but Pau is up there too. Like, he's nice. Precious Achiuwa, best card in D tier. Reggie Theis. Reggie Theis is small for sure, but I would put him by like Batum and Magic Johnson area. Rashawn Holmes, yeah, not very good. F. Rick Smits, he's like a worse version of these guys, but Rick Smits is still tight. All mullet teams stand up. Robert Parrish, I would say the same thing. I mean, no, he's bad, but I would say D tier makes sense. Robert Williams, trash, straight up. Robin Lopez, bottom of D tier. He's okay, I guess. I'll put Wilt over here too. Rudy Gobert, really tough card to rank. Still think he's pretty decent though. I'd put him in C tier. I know a lot of people hate him, but can't say he's that much worse than Glitch. Wilt, if he even is, you know? Ryan Hollins. Remember this guy's card last year? Remember how, like, diesel his guns were? Yeah, you saw no diesel over here. There's none. I like that card because it's funny. Look how big his muscles are. This is crazy, dog. And he worked out that much just to be worse than Mason Plumlee. Wild. And Luke Longley. Serge Ibaka. He's actually good. I would put him over here in the Pink Diamond squad of C tier. Big Diesel. Big Diesel is an interesting card here. Yeah, I would say he's C tier. That Shaq release is abysmal, but he's good. Invincible Shaq. I know there's a lot of cards in A tier, but I just feel like all of these guys are acceptable center options. Like, especially because he's got that Gallinari base. This Shaq is actually really good. He just like decides he doesn't want to rebound the ball sometimes. That's about it. I might drop Taco. It just kind of makes more sense, but I don't know. I'll get there. Simbular, my big boy, D tier. Spencer Haywood, I mean, he's bottom D tier. Steven Adams, really good defensively, so it keeps him out of trash tier, but he's like bottom F. This Taco, yeah, where are my big guys at? D. Tristan Thompson, one of the top cards I would put him in C, actually. Tristan Thompson's actually pretty good. Team USA Tyson Chandler, really good. He's just not a good shooter. That's it. He's actually like a better version of Hassan Whiteside. Wayne Embry. Shout out to Wayne Embry. Remember the Wayne Embry hype? Simpler times. Wendell Carter Jr., I would say he is towards the top of C tier. He's nice, though. I'm almost considering putting him in B. Wes Unseld, he's just tiny. He's just a teensy. He's a wee little guy, but he's still good, and his badge count is kind of bad at this point. Willis Reed. Oh, yeah, I have changed my tune on Willis Reed. Willis Reed is nice. Like, straight up, he's super nice. I would put him, like, right here. He's really, really good. Wilson Chandler, Chandler Parsons, Xavier Tillman. Just good enough to not be trash because he is better than these guys, but still not good. And Zach Randolph. By Jermaine O'Neal, I would say. So, let's take a look at the final rung of the list. I think Taco does deserve to be here, so I'm not going to change it. I think none of these guys deserve S tier, but I think high A tier makes sense for all of them. Yes, even Shawn Bradley, I really don't think he deserves to be S tier. Although he's a really good card, a great budget option, I just think he's not as good as these three guys in S tier. I mean, he is if you like to curry slide around and you like to boost and stuff. Like, then yes, you're going to value Shawn Bradley, but not everyone plays that way. And for the people who do not play that way, his jump shot might be a little bad. I don't know. I like Shawn Bradley. He's so overhyped. And a lot of people have told me like, oh, I bought Shawn Bradley because everyone was hyping him, and then I tried him and I didn't really like him. And like a lot of people have told me that, and I kind of feel the same way. So I don't think he necessarily deserves to be S tier. I think these are the S tier guys. That's how I feel about it. You're going to flame me in the comments regardless. So as always, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes, and I will see you guys in the next one. Check my description for all my stuff. If you're this far into the video and haven't already, subscribe, bro. Peace.